What's up, everybody? Dr. Shaddy, VetTriage here, surgeon, veterinary surgeon. Before we start on this video, the shirt. We gotta talk about this shirt. Shady. So I got it years ago, like a Marshalls or something, because I loved M&M. This is a long time. This is a while back, and Slim Shady, of course. And it was close enough to my first name that I love the shirt. Obviously, you can see it's worn out over time, but anyway, I thought I would show it off. There's the shirt, Slim Shady. So we're gonna focus on how to give medication to your dog and cat, and basically what we're gonna try and focus on in this video is ways to trick them into eating their medication. So there are really cool videos online on YouTube on how to administer the medication to your dog or cat yourself. So we call it in the biz pilling your pet, pill your dog, pill the cat, pill the medication. And so that's when you basically force their mouth open, fill the medication in there, close their mouth, and you wait for them to swallow. And you look for their throat to make sure they're swallowing. They lick their chomps, medication is gone. And it's a great way of doing it because obviously it's the most direct way, right? You can actually visualize medication going in, you can visualize them swallowing, you know they got the medication, and so problem solved. There's no guesswork. The problem with that is it does take some level of technique and skill and take some practice, so we don't want anybody getting bit when they're trying to pill their pet. That's not the goal, and really it only takes one time for them to resent you doing that, and they'll just run away from you, and then they're done with you. And every time you try to coax them with a treat or something like that to come back to you so you can pill them again, they eventually catch up to what you're trying to do, and they don't believe your trickery anymore. So pilling your pet works, it's effective. We do it all the time in the veterinary hospital. As far as home type stuff, if you have the right pet and you're comfortable with it and it's not a battle every single time, then go for it. Kudos to you. Look up on YouTube how to pill your dog or cat, and it'll go through how to do that. The focus in this video is going to be how you can do it by other means. And so so first thing is they do actually make, and this is in line with what I just talked about, pill guns. So it's these white or blue long tubes. At the very end of it, it has like kind of this rubbery thing that you stuff the pill in, and then you can actually put the tube right behind like their canines, where there's a gap between the canine and the first premolar, and you can just pop the medication in there. So it doesn't force you to open their mouth. You just sneak this tube in there, inject it right in there, and then you can hold their mouth closed and wait for them to swallow or whatever. So it's a little bit step down from pilling your animal manually. It's called a pill gun, and you will use those usually. We use them mostly in cats, but dogs and cats both can be amenable to that. And again, if you have the right pet owner with the right skill set and the right pet, that's option number 2. Option number 3, which is of course everybody's kind of hopes and dreams, is just having them eat it voluntarily, right? They just eat it, ignoring the very rare cat that'll do that, and the fairly common-ish dog to some degree that will just eat it like they think it's a treat. You need to coax them with something, and so you have to cover the medication with a food product, usually a human food product. And so there are a couple of ways you can do that. You can purchase from the stores, like pet stores or whatever, or from the veterinary office, from online, what are called pill pockets. So it's basically this literally this capsule that's made of like beef flavored or something. You have to make sure your dog or cat doesn't have allergies to whatever the protein is in the pill pocket, but it's an edible pocket of food or whatever, like a treat, and in the middle there's a hole. You put the pill in there, or the capsule in there, and then they just eat that out of your hands, and you of course have to watch them to make sure they actually eat the whole thing plus the pill. There are some dogs that are very tricky and they'll just eat the pill pocket and spit the pill out. So there's that method as well. It's good because you can just buy the thing and use it, but if you have like beef allergies or whatever, then you can't use that method. And not every pet's gonna like it, and of course it costs money to buy it, so there's that. So that's number 3. Number 4 is you try to cover the medication up in some sort of yummy treat that's not a pill pocket. So you don't want to give something that of course is dangerous. So for example, nothing that's going to they have allergies to already, right? So any kind of protein that your dog or cat has allergies to, like chicken or beef, most common, you want to avoid those meats, so you don't want to cover up in that. You also don't want to pick a product that of course is toxic to animals, so things like chocolate and garlic, onions, raisins. These are all things that are toxic. So we're avoiding those products, and then we're also going to avoid anything that can predispose to like specific diseases. So, for example, pancreatitis, which is inflammation of the pancreas, which is an organ in your abdomen that helps you digest foods, especially fatty foods. Dogs and cats can't really handle the high-fat foods that people can. If you're any listeners out there that actually have had pancreatitis, you know how bad it is, and it can be very mild to very severe, even life-threatening. So we don't want to cover it up in like fatty foods like butter and things like that. You want to keep things kind of bland, but still tasty. That way they'll constantly eat it. So what's acceptable? Peanut butter. Peanut butter works. It's sticky, so they enjoy it. And it sticks to the pill, so it'll go down. And there's that. There's also cream cheese you can consider as well. A little bit on the fattier side, but most animals can tolerate it. And again, when you talk about peanut butter and cream cheese, you're talking about just sort of coating the medication just a little bit, thin layer, enough that it makes it admirable to the pet, and they'll ingest it without spitting out the pill. Those are two really good options. If you're dealing with a dog, what's also good is you can actually try canned cat food. I find that works really well. Canned cat food is very high in calories, and so can make dogs not only gain weight, but also pancreatitis is a concern. So you only want to use a little bit of that, but it's super tasty. It's a great treat for them. They love it. Otherwise, if you don't want to use cat food, we can actually use canned dog food instead. Just take whatever your dog normally eats, get the canned version of that, and use that to coat the pill or capsule, and that should be sufficient as well. That could be another tasty treat. Obviously, it won't be as much of a treat for a dog that gets canned food regularly, but anytime a dog can get some little food in them, they're usually excited to get it. If you have a dog that's kind of a good eater anyway, and so that's another idea that you can also use. Beyond that, there is another option, number 4, which is some people find it much easier, instead of giving their dog or cat a pill or a capsule, you can do, or a tablet or whatever, you can do liquid medication. And so there are some veterinarian offices that will have both the capsule or pill or whatever form of the medication and have a liquid counterpart to that, or they can use a compounding pharmacy that they trust to make a liquid version of that medication, and they can even make it into either a flavorless or flavored version of that. And so some people find it much easier just to squirt the medication in the mouth, or they find it easier to hide it in something, and so you can use that as an option as well. There are other food products you can use to try and hide the medication. You can use hot dogs too, same thing, just enough to hide the medication. You can also use some American cheese. It's a common one as well, and these are all things that can use to help coat the medication and to kind of trick your dog, maybe some cats, but dogs, into taking the medication appropriately. Again, no matter what method you use, make sure they actually ingest the medication. Dogs are very tricky. They'll eat the food, wait for you to leave the room, and then spit out the medication later. They'll hide it under their tongue or in their cheeks, and yeah, they'll learn very quickly how to do that. So. And those are some tips for how to give your dog or cat medications. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this helps you out. Check out some YouTube videos on how to pill your dog or cat online. Otherwise, these are some good tricks to use, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.